Good day at work. I was curious to see how they'd come out today after yesterday's practice, where the tempo was just, one of the better practices we've had since I've been here probably, and they came out today and matched it and probably did a little bit better, so that's encouraging. You're going to ask about Thomas Duarte. He just cramped a little bit, and Eddie did some. We kept him out. His back has been tight for about 3 weeks now. We just want to make sure that we're giving it a chance to settle down a little bit, because we're counting on him, and so we just have to make sure we're doing the right thing, but it's nothing serious. So other than that, guys are moving around and doing a good job.
Zumwalt?
Oh, he's so friggin' lean. And we get out here and he goes so hard that sometimes he cramps up. Remember last year when we were out here, he'd have his trouble. So we're just trying to be proactive with it. He was feeling it a little bit, so we just yanked him. But everyone's okay. I don't think that there's nothing serious has happened. So that's good.
You saw your punter punt now.
I didn't even know which one he was there for a little while. I got to figure out his number.
The real high, long ones and spirals.
Yeah,
those are the ones he was.
Yeah, you know what? The ball comes off his foot nicely. I think the key with Sean is his operation time. When you go from Jeff and Kevin, the snapper, Kevin McDermott, they were so efficient from snap to kick, and so what we have to work on now, depending on who our snapper is, and then with Sean, is just that operation time. That's just so critical, but he's got an excellent leg. I don't know if he'll be the Jeff Locke that we saw that could pin teams down inside the 10-yard line on a pretty consistent basis. That's kind of an art, but I think eventually he'll be that guy, but he's certainly got a big leg.
Looked like Kenny Orgioki was running with the first team. What have you seen from him?
Yeah, we rotate he and Aaron Wallace. We move guys all over. Today, Isaac Salvini was running with the first team some too. We're going to just keep moving guys around. I wouldn't read anything into it at any point in time. Caleb's ran today with the first team at right guard. So it's just, we're just going to move guys around and see who fits where. And, there's very few positions, although there are a few that are pretty well set in stone, and then the rest you want competition.
What have you seen from Kenny though out of that?
Well, first of all, the transformation in his body since he got here at 15 pounds or 12 pounds, and now he's about 6'4", 240, and just fast and quick and explosive and very athletic, and has really developed at that position in terms of his knowledge of the game. He's a kid that hasn't played a ton of football, but that outside linebacker position looks very natural to him. But he hasn't played in any games there, just like Aaron's got a little more experience, so we just want to create competition there.
Is there an ideal type for that linebacker opposite of Barr, or you want someone
if he looked just like Anthony, it'd be great. You have what you call position parameters for every position. A height, a weight, a speed, arm length, things like that. But there's always exceptions to the rule. I think if you look at Kenny, or you look at Aaron Wallace, or you look at some of the young guys, they fit the same type of profile. They're not necessarily all 6'4", 245, but Kenny is. Anthony Barr right now is about 6'4" and a half. He's weighing in every day to about 250. So if they could all be like 6'4", 250 and run like a 4.45, I think it'd be great. Yeah, we'd be fine with that.
Have you looked into cloning?
Clone, yeah. But it's just, you like guys at that position that have some length, so they can get separation. You like guys that have got a good get off. You like guys that have that athleticism to be able to rush the passer, drop into coverage. Dependent upon call, you could be doing either. Because typically that outside linebacker is the fourth rusher, although not always. Sometimes it's an inside linebacker. So that's a position that demands a lot of versatility, and Kenny shows that athletically, and he's picking it up mentally.
What's the tipping point in looking at skill as opposed to body type?
It's always skill. Yeah, it's always going to come down to skill. Like I said, there's always going to be exceptions, but you look for a certain profile typically, and part of the profile is skill set. Part of the profile is football IQ, their aptitude to grasp concepts and put them into action on the field. So if you can get the perfect combination, which you rarely can, you've come across something pretty special.
That beat Barr?
Right now, Anthony Barr is a guy that appears right now to be on the path towards having everything you look for at that position, you know. And there's a few other guys like
How
that.
far the path is he along?
Well, he just started. He's a neophyte, you know. I mean, he hadn't even been really playing this position for a year. He came out here last year and broke his hand right away, you know, and he missed some time. So.
Yeah, for a neophyte, he's on preseason All-Americans and billboards.
He's a very good player who has tremendous upside. I mean, I don't even know if we can identify where his ceiling is yet. You know, I mean, I think he can be that dominant of a player. And you know, one of the things that makes Anthony so special is beyond the measurables and the work ethic is just his mindset. You know, he just demands greatness of himself all the time, and it's just that rare combination of, you know, all of the physical skills with the work ethic and then that mindset that he's got. That's what makes great players.
His good DNA, both father and uncle, Notre Dame running backs, huh? So he's got some.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I just know I like him at outside linebacker for the UCLA Bruins.
Cassius Marsh, stand-up outside linebacker, certain packages. Is that going to be something?
No, he doesn't play. He's never been outside linebacker.
I saw him stand up on a couple of.
No, he's playing defensive end.
Okay.
Yeah, he's never. We don't play him at outside linebacker.
Will he
He's
be standing up though in that position?
He could, or he could be in a 3-point.
Okay.
Yeah, he just stands up sometimes, but he's not outside linebacker. He's a defensive end. He might like to think he is, but he's a defensive end.
I think he's a tight end.
Yeah, well, he could do that now. Noel's always begging for him to play tight end, and we'll use him and Anthony, both of those guys, in our, you know, some of our short yardage and goal line and red zone packages.
We covered this yesterday. Noel wants everybody.
Noel would like every player. Yeah, he's begging for Miles Jack right now at running back, and you know. We try to move guys around, though. You know, I mean, one thing we'd like to be able to do is maximize the abilities of every player on the squad. You know, it's just you have to be careful that you don't overload guys. So it's just a fine art there.
Has Eldridge been 100% cleared?
Yeah.
So he's officially ready to go? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Anthony Jefferson, saw him playing a little bit of safety. Is that an option you guys are really looking at this point?
Yeah, I mean, he's a versatile kid. He plays corner, he plays safety. We played him safety some in games last year. You know, he played late in the season, he played some safety. So he's got the body type. You know, the thing about Anthony is that he's had a tough road here. You know, he's had all the injuries, and he finally seems like he's healthy and running well again. And it's good to see, because he's had to overcome some things physically. So he's a good football player. We want to try to get him on the field. You know, he's a guy who's got length. You know, I like long guys on defense. So.
And it helps to have a guy who's had a little bit experience, at least on the back end, right?
A little bit. We don't have a lot back there, but we've got some skilled players, and we just got to bring them along quickly. You know, Anthony and Ish and Randall, and maybe Fabian just a little bit. Those are the only guys that really have any snaps in the secondary in a game, and I think Fabian's are probably, you know, maybe just a handful.
Stan.
So, Stan, yeah, you're right about that. Stan has a few snaps back there, so. But we don't have a lot of experience, but we've got some talent, so we just got to develop it.
Jalen Ortiz looks pretty good on that.
Yeah, and it's new for him, you know, because in high school he played more out of the backfield, and it was funny you say that, because I heard a couple of the quarterbacks. It was actually Jerry Neuheis, I believe. He said, "That kid's smart. You know, he knows how to play the game. He knows how to set up guys on routes, but he's still real raw. You know, but he's got burst and he's got quickness and he catches the ball fairly well. So I think he just has to settle into that spot." You know, get comfortable doing it, get some experience doing it.
You're going to keep him on offense, though, because he did play DB in high school as well?
Right now we are, but that's something that we talked about coming into camp, is potentially moving him over onto the defensive side of the ball, depending on how the corners were doing. Right now, you know, I feel good about the skill level we have at the corner position. Certainly not the experience, but the level of ability.
Seems like Anthony Jefferson's kind of taken some of the younger guys under his wing. I've seen him over there talking to Tahan and Tyler Foreman a lot.
Yeah, you like to see that, you know, and I think that kind of has permeated our whole team, is the older guys grabbing a hold of some of the younger guys and helping them out. And that's great to see. And it's kind of a different concept for me to observe, because in the National Football League you don't see a lot of that, because that new guy is trying to take the old guy's job. And here, because, you know, they're all part of the same university and there's a natural attrition just because of your graduates, you see a little bit tighter bond, I think, and it's fun to see that. You know, it's not something I'm used to.
Coach, what kind of impact does it have that Priest Willis can play cornerback? Because if he couldn't, and the other guys you'd have to have at that position, what does that do for your backfield?
Well, I never, you know, I coached defensive backs my whole career. And I've been lucky to be around some I don't know, Rod Woodson, he's a pretty good corner, you know, all century teams. And so I would think that, you know, people would trust my judgment when it comes to defensive backs. And all I've said from the very first day is that Priest Willis is a corner. And I don't know why people don't believe that. I guess there's someone out there that has more experience than me. I don't know who they are, but I guess they're out there. He's a corner. There was never a doubt that he's a corner. There will never be a doubt that he's a corner. He's a corner. I don't know why people want to make him a safety. He's a freaking picture-perfect, beautiful corner.
So you won't look at him at safety?
Hell no. No.
That I'd trick you.
I don't understand the chatter about Priest Willis going to safety. He's a corner. So find someone who's got more experience than me in the secondary and wants to make him a safety, then maybe I'll listen to him.
Ron Woodson said he looked like a safety.
No, Rod Woodson saw Priest Willis and said, Jim, that guy looks like me. That's what he said to me. So, anyway.
It's still pretty obvious. Can you still tell that those guys are freshmen? I mean, they're making the mistakes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. I mean, they just, you know, it's a mistake a minute with them. But, like you asked about Priest and Tahan and Johnny, those three in particular, Tyler, you know, he's a little bit younger. You know, he's only 17. And I'd like sign some permission slips for him down there when we were in San Diego, you know, like a guardian. But they are learning quickly. They're still making a ton of mistakes, but there's a ton of mistakes to make. And I've always felt like, you know, mistakes in practice are just opportunities to learn. As long as they don't keep repeating them, they keep learning from them, then I'm good with it, you know. They got to keep progressing, and they are, because they work hard and they're smart kids. So, okay.